Tactical RockNRolla Tactical Device Edition. This edition we're going to focus on knives. So I have many different types of knives here, ranging from switchblade. This is an example of a ceramic knife. It almost feels like plastic. It's actually a Yoshi blade, but it is ceramic. Nice to have. Will not go off on a metal detector, but I believe any kind of 3D scanner, it's dense enough to pick that up. This is a plastic knife, 100% plastic. Could be sharpened, very sharp tip. Nice handle to it. It's a very small, compact knife. It's actually a Walther made, kind of a homage to the PPK, but I believe it came in a set. Very nice. At least on that. You have a slide system. Now, I'm not sure as far as, I believe these are separated from switchblades. They may or may not be legal. Basically how it works, you slide this button all the way forward and it comes out, and then you just push the button backwards and it slides back. I believe these are legal, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if these are legal or not. Check that out. But then moving on, now there's so many legal spring assisted knives. This is the one I carry. This is actually a Tac Force, bought off Amazon for 10 bucks, matte black. You just use this button out here, spring assisted, as you can see. Tac Force blade. This is multi-purpose, has a glass break on the bottom, here serrated edge, nice, and I've sharpened this blade since I carry it. Also a serrated rough edge for sawing on this side. And then the release is in here, a bar located right here, has many knives similar to the Kershaw. Just push that to the side, it releases. It has two seatbelt cutters, one here and another seatbelt cutter right here, as well as a glass break on the bottom. So this knife is multifunctional, dual purpose, and I believe I got it for only 10 bucks off Amazon. So a great knife to have. Then you get into the Kershaws, which are a much better, higher quality knife. Basically works the same way. There's a lever right here on the back. You just use your index finger, spring assisted, flips right out. Kershaw is a great knife to have. Kershaw. Again, you release the blade same way. Just push that to the side and the blade comes in. Now, all of these knives right here, as long as this clip, you basically put it in your pocket and hang it on your pocket. As long as this clip right here is showing, not covered by a t-shirt or anything, this must be visible. This knife is not a concealed weapon, so you must clip this knife. That's why they all have clips, so they are not concealed. Again, another version. If the knives are inside of your pocket and not clipped, that is a concealed weapon. It is not visible. Again, remember, just as long as these knives are visible, or any part of the knife is visible, it is not concealed. Here's another version of the spring assist. The rest of these worked with an outside leverage point, like this here, and this knife here, this point. This one works with a notch. You basically use your thumb, push it out, and flick your wrist. So it's a little bit, this one is not spring assisted, but it's more of a wrist action or a wrist flick. You push it out and flick your wrist. If you just push it out, it will not go far. some knives made with this notch are spring assisted. This one is not. So, but essentially, you can use your wrist to flick it, and it will create the same action if you flick your wrist. So you just push it out, and at the same time, flick your wrist like that, and it is open. So definitely opens very quickly. So another version of a everyday carry knife. This one's mounted a little bit different, mounted upside down, but another version. Another common option is just a folded locking blade knife, typically carried. Now this, I believe, could be considered a concealed weapon. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this could be considered a concealed weapon. It is a closed locking blade, but that's another option. The length on the blade is going to vary from jurisdiction, whether it is legal. In some states, there is no blade length as far as what you can carry for a pocket knife. So since this is a closed, locked blade, this could be considered a pocket knife. I'm not sure what the length is. The length of the blade is going to vary by jurisdiction as far as whether it's legal or not legal. But this is another option of a carry knife. Check your local jurisdiction as far as whether or not this is legal. But if your jurisdiction does not have a blade length, I do suggest a longer one similar to that. The jurisdiction that I'm in, I believe, does not have a restriction on blade length. The jurisdiction I'm in, I believe, does not have a restriction on blade length. It is more on how the blade is opened. Basically, just to finish up on the knife segment of the Tactical Device Edition, a few absolutely deceptive knives, things that you can buy out. There's many, many more out there. These are just a few examples of deceptive knives. There's many out there. These are not all of them. So definitely do a search, but just a few examples. This is one example right here, a belt buckle, one of my favorites, very deceptive. Essentially all you do is you just pull this right out, and the knife comes out and it locks right here, as you can see. So it is effective, and that's what conceals the knife. This one, keychains, also used for like a Kubotan or any type of pressure point device. But as you can see, the grooved screws right here. I don't necessarily recommend using this as a keychain, but just an option. This would probably be illegal in many jurisdictions. Basically, you just unscrew it. Small blade comes out, and screw it into the handle. Just to give you better grip, better leverage, like so. This one a little bit more deceptive, similar to the belt buckle, less likely to actually know what it is. This is kind of a pinkish purple color, good for the females. Actually practical in use, does work as a comb, but obviously you can tell, since it's in the knife edition, it is a knife. You would just separate the handle from the actual finger part of the comb. Like so. And this one actually has a double blade, which could use some sharpening, and a little bit of a serrated edge down here as well. But just just a few different options as far as knives are concerned. Also, just to touch on with knives, I do recommend everybody be careful. I do not advocate pulling a knife on anybody. Knives is one of the last elements that anyone should ever use in a battle. If you pull a knife on someone who is more trained than you are, you will ultimately lose that fight. So I don't advocate using knives. They are a last resort. Tactical RockNRolla at gmail.com. Please leave comments.